What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and the more we find out about the tragic details surrounding the Alec Baldwin shooting on the set of Rust, the worse that it gets. Not just for Alec Baldwin, for whom it is definitely getting worse, as people debate whether he should be criminally liable, financially liable, not just for being the one to pull the trigger, but also because he is the producer of Rust, so he very well may be financially liable for a lot of what is happening right now, but also for other people that were involved in this, and each and every person who handled this gun that fatally shot Halyna Hutchins, and also the person who was primarily responsible for weapons on set. And that would be the 24-year-old head armorer of Alec Baldwin's movie Rust. And this is what she said not that long ago. She told a podcast, she, quote, almost didn't take her last job because she wasn't sure if she was ready. And we're going to talk about her a lot today. It definitely seems like she was in over her head, like she should not have been a person that was in charge of these things, like she wasn't ready to do it, but she was there anyway. And the more, like I said, the more that comes out about this, it looks like there were corners being cut everywhere. It looks like costs were being slashed everywhere. It looks like people who actually wanted to do a good job ended up walking off the set for fear of safety. But not this person, not the 24-year-old armorer, and that is Hannah Gutierrez Reed, whose dad is a famous armorer, said she wasn't sure if she was, quote, ready for her job. Thursday's shooting on the Rust sets killed cinematographer Halyna Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza. The head gun handler for the movie Rust, which has made headlines after cinematographer Halyna Hutchins was fatally shot by Alec Baldwin on set, revealed last month she was worried about her experience level for her first job. Rust was her second job. Just keep that in mind. Hannah Gutierrez Reed told a podcast she almost didn't take the job, her first as head armorer, because she wasn't sure if she was ready for it. Gutierrez Reed, the daughter of veteran Hollywood armorer Thel Reed, said the Voices of West podcast that Rust was only her second film as head armorer. She said she was initially fearful of loading blanks. I think loading blanks was the scariest thing to me because I was like, oh, I don't know anything about it, she said. But her famous father, she said, helped train her up. And not only that, not only was she completely unfamiliar with it, but we also have this headline that just came out. Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed once gave Unchecked Gun to 11-year-old actor, according to this report. The inexperienced armorer in charge of weapons on set of Alec Baldwin's movie Rust had given a gun to an 11-year-old actress without properly checking it for without checking properly for safety. Hannah Gutierrez Reed, daughter of prominent Hollywood armorer, was head armorer on set in Santa Fe where Baldwin fired a prop gun loaded with a live round, killing listen, they say fired prop gun. They just mean a gun that was on set. That's what this means at this point. The term prop gun has been misused a couple times in this. Prop guns do not fire live ammunition. Real guns fire live ammunition. A real gun fired this. That is what happened. But it is a gun that is used on the set, if that's what you mean by prop. Killing cinematographer Halyna Hutchins and wounding director Joel Souza. Gutierrez Reed, alleged misstep happened on the site of her upcoming Nicolas Cage film, The Old Way, the one that she said she was uncomfortable for. It temporarily halted filming. She was reloading the gun on the ground where there were pebbles and stuff, one source told the outlet. We didn't see her check it. We didn't know if something got in the barrel or not. Gutierrez Reed reportedly handed it to a child actress, Ryan Kiera Armstrong, forcing concerned crew members to intervene. The gun was then checked for barrel obstruction, according to the sources. She was a bit careless with the guns, waving it around every now and again, a source says. This is the person who is responsible for this onset, the expert who is responsible for this onset. That's not to mean that Alec Baldwin isn't responsible when he gets it in his hands, when he puts it on his body, when he's about to use it. He definitely is, right? He 1000% is. But when you look at all these different factors, this is the person, Alec Baldwin, that you decided to hire for this job, completely inexperienced, having problems at her past job. What are we doing? So many things along the way failed in order for this to happen. There were a couple times she was loading the blanks and doing it in a fashion we thought was unsafe. A Rust production source described Reed as a, quote, inexperienced and green to the outlet, adding there had been 2 other incidents of accidental discharge by crew members, which we talked about on Saturday. So this was 5 days before the fatal shooting happened. Alec Baldwin's stunt double had an accidental discharge when evidently they loaded live rounds. Like, this is what made people walk off this set. This is what made people bring up safety concerns. And Alec Baldwin and the entire production crew did absolutely nothing to alleviate these concerns. And in fact, they just got rid of all the people who were actually worried about that and brought in random locals to come on the set. This is insane. 2 other Rust production sources questioned if Assistant Director Dave Halls followed proper procedure before the tragic incident. He's supposed to be our last line of defense, and he failed us. He's the last person that's supposed to look at the firearm. Halls was named in the affidavit by calling out cold gun, indicating its safety before giving it to Baldwin. Another source confirmed it should be Assistant Director's job to test each gun for being, quote, hot, loaded with live rounds, or cold, loaded with blanks. This check alone should have prevented this incident. It is a series of bad decisions, a series of breaking safety protocols over and over. They had live rounds on set, guys. That should not have happened in this. There's no reason for that to have happened in this movie. And the more that people look at Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the more that they're finding. And in a lot of cases, it doesn't look... It doesn't look like this is a responsible individual. And again, she should never have been put in this position. She should never have had this position in this with the experience level that she was at. And now we understand why. We understand what has happened. People found this. This is her TikTok. This was the person in charge of firearms on Baldwin's production. No joke. Let's watch this here.
Choke me like you hate me, but you love me. Low-key wanna date me when you
fuck me, touch me with the lights off and my chains on, baby.
This is the person who was in charge of production. This is the person in charge of weapons on set. And the reason people scanned her social media, people tried to understand who this person was, and it seems in a lot of ways she was much more concerned or talked a lot more about modeling or about this kind of OnlyFans type of stuff than she did about weapons or weapon safety or her armorer job or anything like that. You have this. I took this picture before I ever started modeling. I've just always been making cool pictures. When I took this, I was working on Magnificent with my dad. So happy I found my purpose in life along with a few other hobbies, right? So her purpose in life evidently was maybe this, while a few other hobbies were working as an armorer alongside her dad, which clearly she got some things just based on her name alone. I'm 22 years young, ready for another month of draining men's wallets. Which piggies are going to contribute to my birthday shenanigans? And then, of course, she reposts this. You know what amazes me? Women have access to guns every day, and despite the way we are treated by society, by bosses, by men who claim to love us, even by the president, we aren't going on shooting rampages with AR-15s. Take a lesson, men, and work on yourselves, not us. Oof. Oof. That seems pretty rough now, doesn't it? And she has since deleted her Twitter. She was getting a lot of people coming in there, obviously. And, on one hand, she should not have been put in this position on this set. So much of this goes back to Alec Baldwin and Alec Baldwin's responsibility, whether because he was the one that had it in his hand, whether because he is the one who's in charge of safety on set, whether he is the one who's producing this film and decides, or is one of the people that is part of the decision team on who to bring in to do what. Every step along the way, this failed. That's why we end up having this tragic fucking event. And when you see snippets of this person's social media where it seems like, maybe not the most responsible individual that you would want to be the one overseeing firearms on set, you start to see what were people thinking here, what was going on here, and who is going to be held accountable. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all this, about Hannah Gutierrez Reed, about her role in this, how much liability you think that she may have, as well as Alec Baldwin. Let me know in the comments. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.